This training is for TI only, specifically for TI. Because the government project and the residential project are quite different from TI project. Normally, TI project is fast track, simple, small size compared to residential and government building. And the procedure is also simpler. Project management is very important in delivering a successful project, right? I don't need to spend time to emphasize on this topic. I just want to talk about the general responsibilities for project manager. When we work on a project, we'll work as a team, right? You have engineer, project manager, designer, project coordinator. Also, you need the support from accounting department, sometime office, admin. So as a PM, you manage the project activities from the beginning to the end. You need to coordinate with different parties. You need to monitor and manage the following activities: quality, schedule, cost, communication, change. Change means the change order. Okay. Communication means how do you communicate with the different project stakeholders. Resources management, that means how many people do you need, what type of personnel do you need for completing the project. For project management, there could be, you can find a lot of learning materials, YouTube or online manuals. I don't want to spend much time on this topic either. There is designation, PMP, and anyone knows what PMP means? What's the full name? PMP is a project management professional. It's a global designation for PM. It's very popular. However, it is not mandatory for a PM. It's nice to have that. Not like a P.Eng. As an engineer, you must hold the P.Eng designation. So that's a difference. But it's nice to have. To get a PMP, you need to have, I don't know, maybe 2,000 hours for project coordination, management. You work in this industry for a certain amount of time. I couldn't remember actual number. You need to pass the examination. It's not that difficult to get it. As I said, it's not mandatory. Like for me, I manage hundreds of projects that don't have PMP. But for young guys, if you want to have that, yeah, you can have that. So for us, project management is for almost all professions, all industries, all sectors have projects. You need to manage that. Here we just talk about engineering project management. So it's different from other sectors. Right? Okay, so that's our view of project management. Next, I'll talk about the project setup in our company. So normally, we get a project from different channels. The first channel is we submit proposals for public bids, right? Just like what we currently do. We have a lot double search the opportunities, and then we have a proposal team to prepare proposals, submit. That's one way we get a project. The other way we get a project is we have a network or we have existing client send us email or give us calls. Then we submit a fee proposal. That's another way we get a project. And sometime we receive an email from some company or organizations or people that we never work with them. That's first time clients. We have the other consultants, okay? They can introduce the project to us. So anyway, once we get a project, what do we need to do? The first thing we need to do is project setup. Within the company, once a project come in, we need to figure out who is going to work on this project. So the first step would be set up the internal project team. Who is designer, who is PM, who is the engineer, who is the reviewer. You guys already familiar with this process. And second thing is we need to create a project folder in NAS, in the server. We just got a new project. That's a 55. This is a 55. Normally, we go to the project folder. There is a project template. This template can be simplified, right? So we didn't have time to do that. If it's electrical project only, that means we just provide electrical engineering service, then we call electrical only. Or if it's project located in BC or Alberta, they are quite similar. So we use this template. We have electrical only or MEP. That means if it's MEP, that means we provide mechanical, electrical, and plumbing service. So this is for BC and Alberta. For BGS and the public sector projects, that's the big project or government project. So we have 3 templates. The first one is for all disciplines, just like what we did for the Prince George offices fit up project. We have electrical only or mechanical, electrical plumbing. This one, we had a project 2019-007, the one we did for Transport Canada. Why we have a different template? Because the project management, how the project going, the way are different for different sectors, different regions. We also have a small project in other provinces, Ontario, Manitoba, Saskatchewan. For example, in BC they call Schedule B, Schedule CB, but in those provinces they don't have such schedules. They use a substantial completion letter or certificate. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I copy this and change the name. Here is the one I already did. The number, city, address, the project type, the service, and then main designer. So once I create it, I put over here. Then I need to do 2 things. The first one is I need to copy the files support document from a proposal folder to here, because that's the basic. That's the basis we build the project. And also I'll copy the input document from other disciplines to different folder. When we copy that, we should create a subfolder with the date. That's how we create a project folder in NAS. And then I need to create a project file in QuickBook and issue an invoice for the deposit. Currently, this task is done by myself, or it can be done by accounting department. I show it here, just give you guys an idea how it works. So what I'm gonna do, I'll go to QuickBook. So I sign in. I'm gonna create a project because this client is, let me see if this client already exists. So this is the company, our client. I will search if it exists in the system. If it's existing, no. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I first create a customer. So you fill out this, and then you create a new customer. After you do that, you just go to project, click new project. Here is the project name, right? I just copy this to here, and then I choose a customer. There is a list of customer existing one. Once I create it, it will show here. So I choose the one and click save. Then this project will be in the QuickBook. You guys can charge time. Once I create a project, I can just show you one interface. Say for this one, I assume this is a new created project. Then you open this project in QuickBook. Here, add to project, there is invoice. So you can see all the information right here. You just choose engineer service, BP package, the price, tax, everything, and then you can send it, invoice out to bill the customer. That's create a project file in QuickBook and issue invoice for deposit. Next one would be create a project profile in the database. Okay. Here, add new project, and then you put the project information, name, proposal number, location, the title, customer information, billing information, and project scope. For the project scope, you can go to proposal folder. So you go to proposal folder, you open the proposal, you open that, you copy the project understanding here, and the scope, the service we provide. Yeah, you copy paste right here. And then you choose the project team. We need to provide the contract amount, right? Then the system will assign hours automatically to each person. So yeah, okay, this one can be changed, right? Default, yeah. If you don't change, use the default ratio. Okay, and then you need to fill out other project information, category, sector, type, contract, if it's a Chinese owner, whatever. Discipline, if we do electrical only, we choose electrical. The service we provide, here is the options, and then create the new one. Here is notice, you guys can add that later, right? So that's step number 8. What I would like to do, that this is my personal preference. So once I create a project folder, I suggest you guys, if you do a project management, you also create a project folder in the Outlook. What I like to do, I'll copy this to my Outlook 2022. Okay, it's done. And I also create a send one. Okay, so it's done. You can, later on archive the emails related to this project to the folder. So that's a project setup. Next would be early design stage. The first thing we need to do would be create a project team contact list, client, other consultant, landlord. At the early design phase, you don't have a contractor or vendor, right?
but you need to have that information. And as a PM, we need to let internal project team, designer or reviewer or engineer know that for this project, you just have 20 hours, the budget, right? So that already set up in the project database. And identify, explain project scope to internal project team, confirm the project schedule deadline for each milestone with the client or prime consultant, like architect, right? And let your team know that, okay, we have the following milestone we need to deliver FR on such and such day. And also we need to request architectural CAD drawing, request the base building mechanical electrical drawing, and arrange and coordinate the first site survey. Landlord or client, you know. Before you go to site, you need to do preparation, checklist, print out the drawing, bring the tools with you. After you finish a site survey, when you come back, you need to upload all the site survey information to the project folder, picture, video, or the markup, or the information you collect from a client. For TI, it's very simple. If you do government work, like when I do the DDC replacement project in Regina for CRA, I stay there for a few days. I need to go through all the document, O&M manual, a lot of things. So for all those information, you need to pack up either in hard copy folder or take pictures, even for the Yellowknife project, when I was there, I browse all the document. You never know if you miss some of them. Set up internal meeting, determine or discuss the basis of a design, and archive in the project folder. Once you finish site survey, you got an idea of what site look like. You have the architectural drawing. Then we need to sit down together to have a short meeting, discuss how we're gonna do this project. Also, as a PM, you need to get mechanical drawing. This work can be done by designer, but now, for small project, the project less than $5,000, the PM and main designer are same person, right? Also request equipment leased from a client and other informations. So this is early design stage. During the design phase, it will be tasks from time to time. It's ongoing, right, until you finish the project. One is monitoring NAS project folder to ensure all incoming, outgoing coordination document information and the milestone deliverables are properly archived in the project folder. This is very important as a project manager. This is called documentation management. If you manage a large project, if you cannot do this properly, it will be nightmare. For small project, we just have a few documents. You can imagine I work on a few $1 billion project, like oil and gas project and semiconductor fiber project. They are kind of $2 billion US. You can imagine too many different documents, drawings. We had a dedicated department called document control. Okay, we have at least 2 or 3 girls work on document control. They just get a record, archive, organize the documents, hard copy, soft copy. So it's very important. We need to monitor the project database status. It should be updated from time to time, especially for very important issues or activity. Next one, as a PM, we need to monitor the progress that the team make against the budget. When we do project, when we issue FR, we can say it's 55% finish. At this time, you review your budget left. If you already spend 80% budget, then you're already over budget, right? If you just spend 40%, that means you're in good position. You're in good shape. And also the quality. For project management, there are quite a few things we need to manage, right? Quality, budget, schedule, communication, change management, documentation management, resources management. Quality is very important to the company and to the project team as well. As a PM, you probably need to manage the quality from documentation perspective, but technical quality, you need to rely on the record of engineer, right? Or if it's a big company, you have quality control department, then quality control manager will manage the documentation and other quality issues. But technically, it will be rely on a technical lead or regular engineer. Ensure all emails are archived in the project folder in Outlook. This is personal preference. It's not mandatory. If you manage, I talk to the project managers working at the BGS. Each PM has 40 to 50 projects they manage at the same time. You can imagine if you don't have the email for each individual project, email folder, then everything in the one inbox, when you look for something, it will be really hard. This one is regarding the schedule management. As a PM, you are responsible for ensuring your team to submit milestone deliverables on time, right? So you cannot say, hey, today you need to submit BP. You should ask or talk to him at least a few days early, because you need time for a reviewer, you need time for engineer review, you need time for printing, right? And delivery. So you have to track back from the deadline. The other duties would be perform routine project management coordination activities. You receive email from other consultants, from a client. You just distribute this email and coordination internally, make sure these emails or concerns, comments are addressed properly, either by yourself or by your team members. This would be emails, meetings, phone calls, this routine project management. Change and communication management. For small TI, normally we don't have change, but if you work for a government project or for larger project, there could be a lot of change order. So as a PM, you need to manage this. How do you do that? If client asks you to do something that is not in your original scope, you will say, hey, Tony, we would like to do this. However, this is not included in our original scope. So it will be change order. I'll be happy to provide a quotation for this change. Then you need to prepare paperwork, identify scope work for this change order, and prepare a quotation. If you are not confident preparing the code, you need to talk to more experienced personnel or your supervisor, ask for their advices, and then you'll provide the code, right? Once you submit the code, the client approved, then you need to inform accounting department, say, hey, we got a change order, right? That one need to be updated, and also project database need to be updated. I will show here. So here, total change order, right? We need to update here. Say the original contract value is 52,000, then you got 1,000 change order. That means your design budget increase by 1,000, right? So the project database will be updated. Communication management. This is something that most PM ignore or did not pay attention to that. Normally, when we do project, PM will be single contact point, but now we didn't do that way. You know, if you run a big project, the PM would be single contact point. Everything through him or through her. Otherwise, you can imagine I'm the city plan checker, and there are 5 people from Ziyutec. Give me a call, send me email, ask me this question or that question. Which one I should respond to? I have limited time. I won't respond to each of you, right? Single contact point is more professional, and this is how it works. So communication, if you work with the government, at a Kiko meeting, they will say, communication protocol, everything will be through double. You know, double can distribute in his internal team. So those are tasks we do from time to time during the project. Say we finish our design, then we enter construction admin. Normally for small TI project, depending how we sign agreement with client, we just provide a very limited construction administration services. Sometimes we review shop drawings, field review and report, answer RFI request for information if contractor has any question that need to be clarified by consultant that we need to answer, issue site instruction and CCN. SI means the site instruction, CCN means contemplated change notice. During construction phase, we realized that our drawing didn't address in detail or didn't show something clearly. Then we need to provide a site instruction to clarify, explain in detail. CCN means this can be done by contractor or can be done by consultant. You know, during construction phase, something need to change or something need to be added, then either contractor or consultant would draft a change notice. This change notice can be drafted by consultant, and we send this change notice to contractor. Contractor will prepare a quotation based on the change notice for consultant and the client for review and approval. So once client approved, then it's going to be a change order for contractor. That's something very typical in the construction phase. Review progress claim. This type of thing most time it won't happen for small size TI project, but for government project, this is something we have to do. You know, progress claim means contractor charge the client normally once a month, so they need to submit the invoice for consultant to review and approve. Once consultant review and confirm that their invoice is reasonable, then consultant issue a document called certificate of payment. This is kind of a legal document. So with this document, then contractor would have authority get the payment from a client. This is very normal for government project. Andrew already familiar with this document. The project almost done, then we need to go to site to do review, prepare substantial completion letter, schedule CB and issue. As PM, we need to ensure that all construction administration phase document, the document that I talk about, need to be archived correctly in our project folder. We have a construction folder, right? But we just normally use 2 or 3 subfolder. One is a construction report. We use that folder to store field report, verification report, or electrical inspector report. And the other one is construction photos. We put picture we take from a site order during construction. So we normally don't use this 3 in a small TI project. Okay, so this is the construction phase. So close out, that means the project almost done. Then there are a few things that PM need to make sure to be taken care of before we close the project. The first one is the payment. So for our TI project, the Schedule CB is the last deliverable. We don't want to issue Schedule CB until we receive the final payment, especially for some bad client or the client will work with them first time. Because if you issue Schedule CB, that means you're done. And if they don't pay you, you cannot get the money back. We had a few cases like this. So as PM, beware of that. Ensure all outstanding items are archived in project folder. All outstanding issues are resolved. Change your project folder status to close. Project database, QuickBook, email folder. Archive hard copy project folder. Normally we have hard copy project folder, so once it's done, Eng is gonna collect them and put somewhere. If it's a big project or we did learn something from this project, we can have a small write-up or have a short meeting, lesson learned, what we learn. If we have a big issue with the project, we should record that lesson learned and make sure it won't happen again in the future to other projects, right? Other one is all budget write-off. For large company, this is one of duties of the project manager. Like when I work for Stantec, if each project you manage is all budget, you need to provide the reasons. This is something we need to do from a financial perspective as a PM. But here, we are a small company. We should track that. Actually, maybe we should add this. At least if this project or budget, you need to write something to explain why this project is or budget. Okay, next one is a financial coordination. So as PM, if there are some project costs like mileage, meal, parking fee, tickets, accommodation, printing, deliver, we should have right now just Eng and myself approve this cost. Actually, if the company is a little bit bigger, or the PM should take care of this, and they should first sign on behalf of the project team, and then financially from accounting department or executive management team, they will sign that. Engineering change order, scope change, we talked about that already. We need to coordinate with accounting department when we submit the milestone deliverables based on the contract. For each contract, we have payment schedule, right? We need to inform accounting department to issue invoices. Also, for some client that don't like to pay on time, we need to work with accounting department to follow up the payments. When the project is closed, we need to let accounting department know that this project is closed so they can close their financial documents. Okay, next is business development. So after the project close, if it's a feature project, important project, bigger project, then we need to write description for the project so they can use that as a reference project in proposal. As a PM, we should keep a good relationship with the client. You can send a greeting email during holiday season, make a phone call, keep good relation with them, maybe in the future they have more project need our service. Not only the client, architect, other consultant, general contractor, electrical contractor, they might provide some opportunities for us. Or the next one, how to deal with bad clients and how to deal with the challenges in project management. So for bad client, our policy would be stop the services without payment and receipt. We have quite a few cases like this. Push you, ask you to, please give me FC tomorrow, blah, blah. If you know they are bad clients, we have this record in our database. For very bad client, we even don't provide a code. We don't want to work with you. So there is one client, based on the contract, they should pay full amount fee after we submit the BP package. But they already got BP approved and the construction work almost done. They still haven't paid us. And they blame us, say, hey, you guys did a bad job. When they have some question need to be resolved during site, they say, oh, you guys drawing got some issue. Actually, no issue at all. And I said, well, we won't answer your question. We won't address your issue until we receive the full amount of money. Like I just said, for Schedule CB, for such bad client, without final payment, we won't issue. There could be some challenges in project management or in the project. Technical issue could be one. We got some very difficult due to some reason. Maybe we didn't go to site. We have a lot of a project in Edmonton, Toronto. We didn't go to site. We just do that based on record drawings, and maybe there could be some issues on site. We need to, once it comes up, we need to resolve that. But if it's due to our fault, we have to be applying to the client, provide a good service. Or budget. Yeah, as a PM, you have, I think PM has more pressure than technical people. For technical people, you just deal with technical things, right? But for PM, you need to deal with many different aspects. People, budget, technical issues, a lot of things. So you have to make sure project is delivered with high quality, within budget, and on time, right? So how to make sure the project is not over budget, how to deliver the project on time under tight schedule, how to deliver a project with very limited resources. These are something you might come up with. So this is a challenge. Sometimes the project delayed by other parties, but they complain our service. Just like the air shaft, the contractor delay like a few months, then they say, well, you guys did bad design, delay the project schedule. Also, you have a bad client or tough HJ. HJ means authority having jurisdiction. It's like a plan checker or inspector. And some client ask free consulting service. Their design requirements change from time to time. Those are challenges as PM you will be facing in the future. Yeah, I have a few YouTubes talking about a related topic, but they are in Chinese. This one is talking about how electrical design team coordinate with other parties, how to coordinate with other consultant, how to coordinate with the client, how to coordinate with the contractor and vendor. And this a few are YouTube video I did a couple years ago. It's regarding how to run a project, electrical project in Canada. It's mainly for electrical contractor. Yeah, that's it. What I want to talk about. Any questions? Site instruction and change order. Okay. Site instruction is the first phase, the first step. If client asks you to ask a consultant to do something, or consultant realize that you have something that need to be addressed clearly, then you issue site instruction. This site instruction can be for clarification, can be for scope change. If it's a scope change, if this site instruction affect the contractor's scope, then a change order will be generated. Otherwise, just clarification. Site instruction is not a contractual document. It's just instruction. But change order is a contractual document. It related to the contract, to dollar. There are two things we separate that. First thing is our agreement with client for engineering service. If this is included in our contract or not. If not, then we can charge client for provide that service. This is for our own service between our consultant and the client. This is one thing. The second thing is for construction, the contractor's change order, right? For the situation you talk about, I think we better, as a PM, if we are a PM from a consultant side, we should talk to client first if we receive email from contractors, right? First of all, communication protocol. Okay, for change order or for R5 site instruction, what's the procedure? We need a formal R5, we need a formal site instruction, formal change order, or just through email. And if clients say, hey, we need a formal channel to deal with, then we'll follow that. The client doesn't care, then we do email. When we receive this email, we already talk about consultant and client. It has nothing to do with that. Assume we got paid for doing that, okay? So when we receive some question, comments, change requests from a contractor, and the client is CC'd, for commercial issue, I mean contractual issues, we should first talk to a client. How do you want to proceed this? What do you think of this? Before we reply to the contractor. Just in case, the client doesn't like we make a decision for them, or doesn't like that we involve too much in financial things. As a consultant, we are only responsible for technical things. However, when you work for government project, as I just introduced, you're gonna issue a certificate of payment. So by that time, you have authority. You said, well, your quotation is not reasonable. For example, I think for this job, you just need 4 hours, not 12 hours. Please revise your quotation, resubmit it. In this case, you represent government, so you have the authority. But for private sector, we better kick the ball to the client. We don't want to involve the financial things. That's my feeling. And depends, most TI work we do, especially for Chinese client, normally you won't get this.
Yeah.
The contractor try to take care of by themselves. There is a disadvantage for that, because most time the contractor just, they saw they are experienced, they can do this. Sometimes they even didn't follow your design.